So a while back, I made a top 5 worst modern day dumbasses in distress, where I listed some of the worst damsels in distress that have come out in the recent decades. But, to some surprise, I revealed at the end of the video how I don't really mind damsels in distress. I don't mind seeing a character get beaten, or captured, or even need help being saved. As long as they get back up or they continue to keep fighting by improving themselves to take on the challenges the next day, then I don't mind seeing a character seeking help from their teammates. And I still stand by that claim to this day. Not every character needs to be a fighter, is physically strong as the main characters, or even needs help defending themselves, and that's okay. I can understand why this trope is annoying to some people, but the way I see it, as long as the character gets back up, continues to keep fighting by improving themselves, or is essential to the team in another way, then I don't mind seeing someone seek help from their team. Hell, sometimes even the main heroes need being helped once in a while, but I don't see people hating on Batman or Superman. And also, like modern day dumbasses in distress, there seems to be a new variety of regular modern day damsels in distress too. Now, unlike dumbasses in distress who bitch, whine, and get offended when they are rescued even if they were about to die, new modern day damsels in distress are actually grateful, find other ways to help out the team other than fighting, and save themselves at times or even the main hero. Thank God! I am sick and tired of seeing either ungrateful bitches who scream at their rescuers even though they caused the problem, or just pretty damsels who are just there to be the prize. These characters show that just because you do get kidnapped, that doesn't mean you have to stay helpless, be annoying, or even go down without a fight. Even though they're not as strong as the main protagonists, that doesn't mean they're bad characters. But just who are these damsels in distress that I'm talking about? Glad you ask, because we are counting down the top 5 good modern day damsels in distress, starting off with one of my childhood favorites. Number 5. Sorryi Sumdak from Transformers Animated. This is who I think Pan should have been, and they're pretty similar. Both are young girls in a boy-centered cast, both want to prove themselves to their teams, both can be arrogant, and are the kids of the group. But unlike Pan, Sorryi is actually competent. After being saved by the Autobots, Sorryi sneaks into the Autobot ship and comes face to face with the Allspark, which mysteriously transforms her key that can heal any damages to machines, including the Autobots. So already Sorryi has a role in the team. She's the healer. She's there to help out her friends if they're hurt or even if they need a power boost. And she also serves to be the Autobots' connection to the human world. She also has a mysterious connection to the Allspark, being chosen to be the protector of the key. In fact, every time when the Autobots try to take the key away from her so they can protect it, it ends up in disaster. So the show makes a point that Sorryi does have an important role. But she's also an 8-year-old girl, so sometimes she throws the classical temper tantrums and gets into some trouble. But here's the thing, when Sorryi does throw a temper tantrum or causes trouble, she learns a lesson at the end. She learns something from it or makes amends with the team. This isn't a Pan situation where she'll fuck up and the team apologizes to her for some goddamn reason. No, when Sorryi fucks up, she will admit she fucked up and then learns from her fuck-ups. And unlike Pan, Sorryi knows better than to rush a 20-foot robot and find other ways to help out. Whether it's pitching a plan, helping on the sidelines, giving her friends a power boost, or healing them. Also, Sorryi doesn't really go looking for trouble. Trouble finds her. She's not rushing a Decepticon or taunting Megatron to come at her. No, it's more like she'll be minding her own business and someone grabs her. But when she does get captured or kidnapped, she gets herself out, relying on the smarts and advice her friends gave her. In fact, there was an entire episode of Sorryi having to defend herself from the Constructicons after the Autobots left her by herself, and she used her critical thinking to defeat the intruders by herself. Take notes, Pan! However, although I do like Sorryi, I can see why others may not. She is the bratty kid character that can come across as annoying, which is why she is so low on the list. And she also has her dumbass in distress moments, especially in the Transwarped special. After finding out she is part Cybertronian, she goes through the classic, "you lied to me, so therefore I have the right to bitch at you" trope with her father, who, mind you, has been kidnapped and held prisoner by Megatron during all of Season 2. In fact, the whole special, Sorryi is just complaining, even during battle.
Happy? Family? Boy, did he get the wrong someday. I am not sitting next to him. I want my own safe place. And by the way, I'm not talking to you either, traitor.
Girl, there is a 20-foot transforming killer machine over there ready to squash you like a bug. Get your priorities straight and shut up. Later on, she also used the key to give herself an upgrade, even after Ratchet warned her to keep things slow, which not only led her into an uncontrollable rampage throughout Detroit, not only led to her severely hurting her best friend, but it also led her to draining all the key's powers, rendering it useless. You really fucked up this time, Sorryi. But that's how the show treats it. She fucked up. Sorryi still apologizes to her dad for how she treated him and make amends with him. Sorryi took responsibility for her actions and told Ratchet to shoot her with the EMP generator, knowing full well it could kill her. And when she wakes up, she does apologize for all the trouble she caused. And that's why I like Sorryi's character over Pan's character. Sorryi is learning and developing into a better character, while Pan remains the same. Sorryi learns a lesson and takes accountability when she fucks up, while Pan screams louder and others apologize to her. Yes, Sorryi was the worst in Transwarp, but that was just one time she was unbearable, while Pan was unbearable throughout the entire series. And even though she wasn't a fighter in the first 2 seasons, she still was an essential part of the team, while Pan wasn't, even when she was the second main protagonist. Now, Sorryi's role does diminish in Season 3, as she didn't really appear much until Human Error, which sucks especially after she upgraded herself. I wanted to see this new Sorryi fight alongside the Autobots, see her go through a training arc, but she only really appears during the end of Season 3. Oh well, maybe we'll see her more in Season 4.
GD, it's been more than 10 years.
It still hurts! How could they?
It's okay, GD. It happens to the best cartoons.
I hope you're happy, Hasbro, you crusher of little girls' dreams! How can you sleep at night?
Okay, I'm just gonna...
Sorry, I still haven't recovered since 2009. Back to the list. Sorry, Sumdeck. Proving just because you're the kid character, that doesn't mean you're automatically a useless, annoying asset. Take notes, Pan! Number 4. Lois Lane from My Adventures with Superman. This has to be my favorite version of Lois Lane. Starting as a classical damsel in distress, recent years have tried to make Lois more stronger by giving her the workaholic, sassy woman personality, which is fine, but she always came across as a bitch to me, which is never fun for me. I always rolled my eyes when she got kidnapped. Like, seriously, Lois? Again? This Lois Lane is the complete opposite. She's a spirited tomboy with a fiery personality who's fun, energetic, reckless, but determined. Yeah, make all the loose, lame jokes you want, but I really do like this Lois, because she's a fun character. A lot of shows try so hard to make their female protagonist strong or the responsible one, but they end up making them downers, bland, naggy, annoying, being the ones to put a stop to the group's antics or stop the fun. But this Lois is having fun with the guys. She's joking with them, plotting with them. Hell, I'd even go so far as to say she's the leader of the group. She's the one pushing the group to get the story no matter what. Even if it gets into hijinks, leading to some great comedic moments with the guys. However, because she is so reckless, she does get herself in trouble, bringing down the guys along with her, especially in the beginning. But here's the thing, Lois learns from her mistakes. In the first episode, after Clark calls her out on lying to the group, she denies it at first, but later on she does realize what she did was wrong and then regrets lying to Clark. Then later on, she makes sure the guys are in on her plans and makes sure they are a cohesive team. Character development! Thank you! Also, this version of Lois and Clark has to be the cutest and sweetest version of the classic ship I've ever seen. Usually Lois and Clark have a will they, won't they relationship that gets dragged on too long, with fights, misunderstandings, and bickering. This Lois and Clark actually gets to the point, are loving, and support each other, which is such a breath of fresh air. I love it when stories actually make characters a couple. There's nothing wrong with waiting for the final kiss, but I actually appreciate it when characters are allowed to be in a relationship and we watch them deal with couple stuff. So this scene made my day when I saw it. But I can't say this is the perfect couple, nor is this the perfect Lois. They do go through the secret identity reveal trope where Lois gets mad at Clark for lying to her, and it's as predictable and cookie cutter as it gets. I've seen some people compare this version of Lois to Amber, even going so far as to say she's the new Amber. Hey, there's only one Amber, and that's Amber! Although yes, Clark was clearly in the right to hide his secret identity, and Lois is honestly one to talk about liars as she literally lied to them in their first meeting and was open to how determined she is to expose Superman, she is still nowhere near Amber's level of bitchiness. First, Amber was mad that Mark lied to her because
we're fighting because you lied to me. You made me feel stupid and unimportant.
While Lois was mad because she was concerned that Clark was getting hurt. Her anger comes from being worried about her friend, not because Clark made her feel stupid and unimportant. Second, we see how Lois found out Clark was Superman, unlike Amber, who I guess knew all along. And unlike Amber, she actually tries to confront him about it. Third, Lois is more passive-aggressive to Clark for an episode after the reveal than the typical "you lied to me, so therefore I had the right to bitch at you" trope we usually see, and even then, she still focuses on what really matters, saving Jimmy. Finally, it gets wrapped up pretty quickly. Instead of it being dragged for half a season, TMNT 2012, they move on pretty quick from it, like ripping off a band-aid. But I do wish Lois was more understanding to Clark, like Jimmy was, or even acknowledge that she did also play a part in all of this. If I were to rewrite this scene, I'd still keep Lois angry at Clark for keeping this from her, but then Clark retorts back of how he was afraid that Lois would actually expose him, making Lois realize her fault in the situation. Then Lois is upset at Clark, not because he lied to her, but because he thinks she'd actually be capable of hurting him and how she is worried sick for him, especially since she finds out in the episode he can get hurt. Then both of them go back and forth for a while, refusing to back down until they walk away furious. Going home angry, but then they think about what the other said and realize how they must have hurt the other. Then in the next episode, when they go save Jimmy, they both are calmer after time to reflect, talk to each other, and they both come together apologizing to one another. This way, it doesn't seem like Clark is the only one apologizing for having a secret identity that he has every right to have, mind you. With what we got is just another basic secret identity revealed, famous in superhero stories, that is just a headache to get through. But as stated before, it only lasted for about 2 episodes, and then they move on, almost like the writers wanted to address it as quickly as they can, just to get it over with. Then she goes back to being her old, lovable, tomboyish self, unlike Amber, who once finds out, gets recontextualized as a narcissist. Lois also has moments when she helps out Superman, and even saves him too at times, showing her own unique kind of strength contrasted to Superman's physical strength. She even saves herself at times. Look in episode 1 where the robots attack her, she figures out how to stop them by herself. Yeah, Clark still saves her at the end, but look at her, 4 out of 5? That's not bad. Lois Lane. She may be one of the most famous damsels in distress ever, but this version has to be one of the best. She's fun, she's reckless, and she gets the story no matter the cost.
Number 3. Amy from Sonic X. If you have seen Joe's review of Sonic X where I guest star, then you know that I'm an unapologetic Amy girl. Yeah, she can be annoying, love-obsessed, and gets caught a bit too much, but I don't care. I still love her. Why? Well, because she's awesome. Also, when Amy gets caught, she doesn't go down without a fight, which I love. If she's going down swinging. Amy either tries destroying the machines holding her, starts breaking things, or just starts screaming bloody murder when she's caught. There's just something hilarious about a damsel in distress being purposely annoying just to spite their kidnappers. But that's the key word, kidnappers. She's not annoying her rescuers or gets offended when someone saves her. No, if she's going to be annoying, it's to the villains. Take notes, ladies! But she's also not helpless either. Amy becomes a menace when she needs to be with her trusty Pico Pico hammer, even making Eggman worry at times, and also saves Sonic at times too. Hell, at one point she went full Rambo in Season 3 when Sonic gets caught in one episode, even punching a shark at one point. But what does Sonic say?
Next time you want to rescue me, don't!
Careful, Sonic, your dumbass in distress is showing. Speaking of Sonic, I do like their relationship in the show. Although Sonic does get annoyed at times, they do have legit cute moments together, proving that Sonic does care for her in his own unique way. Although I do see why some people may not like her, she can be annoying at times and she is very Sonic obsessed to the point where that's all she seems to care about. But I still think she's great. Maybe it's just a me thing, but I love the adorable pink badass girl. They're a guilty pleasure of mine. Don't hate. Amy Rose. She may need saving from times, but don't underestimate her fury.
Number 2. Kid Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. Hear me out. I know I'm probably signing my own death warrant at this point, but a lot of fans seem to forget how much Gohan had to be saved during the beginning of Z. Hell, that's how he was introduced, with him needing to be saved from his Uncle Raditz after he got kidnapped. There is also the fight with the Saiyans, needing to be saved multiple times or even ran away at times. Hell, he got Piccolo killed because he froze in place. Then we have moments during the Namek saga when he also had to be saved from the main villains. But none of that matters. You know why? Because it's motherfucking Son Gohan! Let's go! Even when he goes down, he comes back up capping someone. There's a reason why Gohan has a rally of fans ready to riot when someone dares say something bad about their messiah, because of what a great character he is. Unlike Sorryi Sumdak, Gohan is a fighter. Not just a competent one, but a necessary one. He has proven time and time again how not only can he take on the main villains, but he is more than capable of giving them a run for their money. And it all has to do with his amazing potential he has with his legendary anger. All you gotta do is trigger the little guy and he takes down armies. What makes Gohan work than other kid characters is that he's actually really mature for his age. I think a lot of writers fall into the trap of making their kid characters realistic when they should just focus on making them good characters. Gohan is a very well-behaved boy who only really whines during his survival training, which is very understandable for any toddler to go through. Hell, as a grown adult, I'd be shitting my pants too if I were to be chased down by a T-Rex. But once Gohan toughens up, he becomes determined to fight the Saiyans. He no longer cries when Piccolo gets too rough on him. No, he gets back up and yells, "Is that all you got?" while taking the beating head on. Gohan even formed a student-teacher relationship with Piccolo, seeing the good in the former monster and even having said monster sacrifice himself for him. Then Gohan becomes more determined than ever to go to Namek to bring him back, even standing up to his mom. But even before the Namek saga, Gohan was still throwing hands to the Saiyans. Hell, he was the real person to defeat Vegeta and send him running. Then even in the Namek saga, he proved to be more brave than he was in the Saiyan saga, more willing to stand up to villains and even being the first to rush in to save someone. And finally, he not only defeated Cell, but he also unlocked a new transformation that no other Saiyan had at the time. And when he does, it's scary! Jesus, run! Run, Cell! What are you doing? Get out of there! He's gonna... What makes Gohan a great character is that he improves throughout the show. He doesn't stay the same character. Each saga he becomes stronger and more brave than the last saga until it finally all comes down to his fight with Cell. Still don't believe that Gohan is that great? Before this video, did you even consider that he was a damsel in distress? I bet you didn't. In fact, none of the Dragon Ball fandom even thinks about how many times Gohan needed to be saved in the past because we're too busy focusing on his badassery than his faults. That's how you know you have a great character. Take notes, Pan! The legend, the beast, Kid Gohan.
You see? It all worked out. You can put the knives down.
Whew. Thought I was going to be a wish there for a second. Thank Kami, because now it's time for the number one damsel, or damsels, in distress I personally like are... Number 1. Every Disney princess ever. Call me basic all you want, but I cannot and will not deny my love for these women growing up until this day as a grown woman in my 20s. We all know the backlash these women get by now. They're too submissive. They need to be saved by a man. This is so sexist. You people do realize these films came out 100 years ago when they did have a different mentality back then? Did you really expect Disney in 1937 to have the same mentality that we are still struggling to grasp in the present day? And even so, to many surprise, these princesses were considered strong female representation back in the day. Each princess had attributes that the time period considered strong at the time, and were seen as great role models for girls. Yeah, they didn't swing any swords until later. Yeah, for a while they did need a man to save them. But are we really going to ignore the great attributes they had? Snow White and Cinderella were from abusive families that ran away to something better, while also being cheerful even when facing the toughest times of their lives. Ariel actually went to get her prince and start her journey, which was praised back in the day. Belle was the true heroine of her own story that also taught kids the importance of true beauty, and the list goes on. Yes, each princesses have their own fault, and yes, some things can be considered sexist or problematic if you really think about it, but these are fairy tales. If we can accept the fact a cold, heartless killing machine can be redeemed into a family man that Shonen is famous for, then I think we can forgive these problematic elements fairy tales possess. We also need to stop thinking that being strong just means swinging a sword around or punching your problems away or screaming your lungs out. Strength comes in all shapes and forms, as these women displays. Classic Disney princesses may not have the best reputation they had back in the day, but they'll always have a place in my heart. Ba-na-na-na-na. So that was my list of damsels in distress I like. Did you agree with my list, or did you hate every one of these characters and have no idea what I'm talking about? Let me know in the comments below, and what do you think of just the trope of damsels in distress in general? Do you loathe this trope altogether, or are you like me who doesn't really mind as long as the character is enjoyable? Let's keep this conversation going in the comments. Play that ending!
When's the next chapter of Goten Black coming? I need it! I need to know! I can't live without it! I'm gonna keep spamming the comments until it comes out!
Don't do this. Don't be like this guy. No one likes this guy. Yes, Chapter 7 will take time to make, but the good news is that now you can read it on my Patreon. New pages come out every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. It's only $3 a month, or you can sign up for my new $5 a month tier, where you can receive 2 free prints from me every month and get access to deleted scenes from Goten Black. The more you guys sign up, the less hours I have to work, and I can focus on getting Goten Black out quicker. We also have channel memberships on YouTube for $1.99 a month, where you can have access to behind-the-scenes commentary, and we have super things if you want to make a one-time donation, which will also be shout out in our next video. Can't afford that? That's okay, because you can also help by liking and sharing this to everyone you know to help this channel grow. Also, hit that subscribe button to help support the channel. Just 2K more subscribers to our goal of 5K. Thanks, guys, and stay unhinged.
Can you have Goten Black meet Azula and Bill Cipher?
What?